What's going on, everyone? Designedcoma here. Welcome back. And the gameplay you're watching is me playing some Black Ops 3. So, what's up for today's video? Well, first of all, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on whenever it is you're watching this video. So, I hope your day is going well. If you're at work, try not to get caught by your boss or anything like that in terms of watching YouTube at work. Trust me, I do it too, so I'm guilty of it. Hey, you know, when you got that free time or just not doing anything, you gotta find something to do. So, what's up for today's video? Well, this one's going to be a little bit long, a little bit lengthy, so I kind of hope you guys kind of hang on and just hang with me, because there's a lot to go over. There's a lot I want to talk about, and this has to do with the UK leaving the EU. Okay, now I'm not going to talk about the politics or the political side of all of this stuff, but I did come across an article that has to do with what does it mean for the video games industry, and I found it to be really, really interesting. So I wanted to share some of the bullet points I felt that were the important parts of it. I just kind of pulled them out and put them in a little bullet point kind of thing, and I'm going to go over them and just talk about them a little bit. I hope you guys find it interesting, because to be honest with you, this exit from the EU that the UK voted on has a lot of different ramifications that are going to happen over the next few years, because it's going to take them about 2 years to complete their full exit strategy. So there's a lot of things that are going to be going crazy over the next couple of years, and we've already seen it in the markets, we've already seen it in the stock market and everything. So we already know that this is really impacting things quite extensively all over the world. So in terms of video games, the UK has a lot of game publishers and developers. There's plenty of them there, many of which export their games worldwide. They hire staff all over the world. Now, foreign-owned developers who have set up shop in the UK. So that's kind of what they're thinking. What's going to happen now for the foreign-owned developers there? Some of the other questions is what's going to happen with the game prices in the UK? Could it affect the price we pay for the physical and digital copies of games? Which there is potential for this. I'll get to that a little bit later on. Eurogamer spoke to a variety of companies and some of the spokespeople for those companies in the UK industry to kind of get their take on it. Most agree that the decision to leave the European Union adds a layer of uncertainty on top of an already troubled industry. We all know, games sell, but the industry isn't quite what it used to be. It's not as robust as it used to be. There's no doubt that games are selling, but we do see a lot of game companies come in and a lot of game companies go out. Some last a year or two, maybe 3-4 years, and the next thing we know, we see that they're closing up shop. Some of the issues that might be pertinent to the UK games industry in the coming months is, according to Yuki, I'm not real familiar with Yuki, so I'm not quite sure what it is, include securing access to overseas talent like people in the US, ensuring that they have the right investments in place to help their talent increase their skills, to get to keep increasing their skill levels. And some of the other stuff is the continued video games tax relief and some access to funding. So there's some big questions here. There's some things here that are kind of a concern for the games industry. Andy Payne, founder of Domination, which is where I've got this information from, and I will have a link obviously in the description so you guys can go check it out and read the entire article. It's rather lengthy. He's a former UK Interactive Entertainment chairman and told Eurogamer that Brexit could spark a talent deficit. So there's a possibility for this. There's uncertain and tough times. He said leaving the EU, it just pours a load more uncertainty into the pot, and it's basically just not good for everybody. Add in the free movement of skilled labor, which EU residents have pretty much enjoyed, for years, and that could mean have a talent deficit until they can train up, their own talent to where they need to be. Companies such as Microsoft, Sony, EA, and Ubisoft, they all have invested creating developer studios and publishing networks in the UK. So there's some little uneasy uncertainty there too as well. In terms of exiting staffing and distribution, like I said, it's going to take about 2 years before they have a fully negotiated exit from the EU. So it's business as usual basically in the short term and medium term. Following the confirmation of the Brexit, the value of the pound, we did see the value of the pound. It went down, sparking concern about the cost of video games. Pricing of games and hardware in the UK is tied to the local currency exchange rate. So any dramatic change in the value of the pound could likely have an effect, basically a knock on, or an effect on the price of video games. So it could go up. It can also have an effect on the hardware. Harding Rolls said any change will probably affect hardware more than software, which may mean Microsoft's upcoming Project Scorpio and Sony's PlayStation might be more expensive in the UK than they would have been otherwise. Andy Payne suggested Brexit could make video games cheaper as the pound fluctuates. That may mean that physical games could be cheaper unless, of course, there are import tariffs again, given that all PlayStation games sold in the UK are manufactured in the EU. So as for developers, already this morning, they've seen concerned response on social media, with many worried about potential recession and its impact on the UK games market, and for those foreigners who work in the UK and worry they may be forced to leave the country. There's also some concern among UK game developers that they may now not be able to work at other studios in Europe. While changes in pricing could impact consumers, there is a broader threat to the UK games market if the country is thrust into a recession as a result of Brexit. This is coming from Harding Rolls. So as you can see, that the Brexit, the vote to leave the EU, is really having an effect on all kinds of different areas. You can see, you're going to see it in the next coming weeks and things like that. It's probably going to be a continuous storm of craziness until things kind of start to level out and pan out, and everything starts to get rolling. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys found it informative. Like I said, this is just some bullet points I pulled from the article. I'll have, obviously, like I already said, a link in the description so you can go read it and kind of get the full details. There's really a lot more in there, but I kind of just pulled little bits and pieces out that sounded, I guess, the important parts. I'm sure everybody's going to have their own opinion on what's important in the article, but it really was an interesting article to read. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, don't forget to give it a like, favorite, subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one.